get this on record so that we can get it. Hi, and welcome to the Masterclass. My name's Douglas Peacock, and I'm looking forward to sharing with you these techniques and these skills that I have used and put into practice over the years to master my life and get things going. Now, one of the things that I'm wanting you to become aware of is, for the people that know me, know about how I am, and I will teach you the techniques on how to do it. And learning it and getting the information is one thing, but I'm a big person, a big advocate for actually experiencing it. So towards the end, we're actually going to do a process where I'm actually going to put you into the places so you experience the teachings that I've taught you, and it helps solidify it into your consciousness. So before we get started, one thing that we recognize is we need to make sure we've got our distractions turned off. So go ahead, turn your phones off, make sure the doors are closed, put a little sign on your door if you're in the office and someone's trying to come in, do not disturb, important meeting going on. And allow yourself to give yourself permission to really connect and be here and get the information that's going on. So I want you to set a strong intention for you to be able to receive everything that you need and can get out of this masterclass. Now, what I mean by this, I was sitting in a seminar with Carolyn Miss. She's medical intuitive, for those that you don't know who she is. This is years ago when I was in LA, and she's sitting there and she's saying all these medical terms and all that, and I'm going, don't understand, not sure whether I'm going to get it. And then I had spirit talk to me, or the superconscious talk to me, and it said, don't, just relax. The words have got a vibration. Allow yourself to receive the frequency. And what I did, so I allowed myself to relax. And not only was I listening with my old earlobes, I actually stepped into the feeling tone and was allowing the vibration of what was being said to resonate and come into my being and into my field, so I could understand and got it on a deeper level. And I sort of thought, oh yeah, Doug, you're sort of fooling yourself a wee bit here. But when we had a break at about, halfway through the seminar, we went out, and I had a better understanding and could regurgitate more what she had said than anyone else there. And I went, wow, where did that come from? And it was because I allowed myself to relax, sit and joy in myself, and allowed myself to receive the teachings that was going. So not only did I hear it, but I took on the frequency, the vibration of the words, because everything has vibration, everything has a frequency. And when we allow ourselves to connect with that, we take it on so much better. So one of the things I want you to do is just really chill out, be relaxed, because remember, when you are having fun and are in joy, you tend to receive things better. Think about playing sport. I remember playing rugby, trying to be all tense and all that, and I was basically not very good. But when I allowed myself to be in my true nature and be in the essence of who I was, you could make all sorts of things happen. And it's just the way we need to be. And the more we relax into it, the better we learn. So for some of you that you know me, some of you that don't know me, so what I want to do, if you don't mind, is I'm going to give you a little quick background into how I came to where I am today, so that it can help make sense for why I'm so passionate about this. So back in 1996, I'm a Kiwi, if you haven't picked up my accent yet, and I live in Australia. And back in 1996, I had my own plumbing business. And, I was lucky enough, very blessed I was, to have these concepts come to me through unconsciously creating them. And what I mean by that is I didn't know what I was doing, and here I was saying, I hate plumbing, my marriage sucks, I just hate it, I want out, and none of it's really working. And so, to be honest, I just hated what I was doing. And so I was continually saying this to myself. And, some of you guys may have experienced something like that in your life. And I didn't realize that by me continually saying how bad things were, I kept making it worse. And I was creating a situation in my life where things were getting tighter and crunchier and things like that. And like a magical genie and the beautiful gift of the universe, the universe provided me, which looked like this. I took on too many building contracts with a builder of all these big projects, and I put basically all my eggs just about in one basket, and unwittingly, to me not paying attention, the builder went bankrupt. And basically that I was basically knocked out, taken out financially that way. And, and I joke about it because, hey, it was true at the time. I was really angry, really frustrated, and just plain not a really nice person, if I'm honest. And, and of course my business collapsed. And then the marriage was under so much pressure already, it went and collapsed on as well. And what I did is I found myself in a very short time being more stressed out under all this pressure because, in the old days, the way that when I was young, how did I fix things? I just worked harder. I just tried harder. What I did is I took more work on and pushed myself harder, would work 7 days a week. And I was never home, which really didn't help the marriage that much. And I found I was just getting angrier and struggling and forcing and trying to make it. And then to one day, the pressure was so much. I found myself on a building site on my own, and I'm there setting it up, getting it ready for the contractors to come in. And I just collapsed on the building site. And it was from the pressure and the stress and everything. And I just physically collapsed and passed out. And I don't know how long I lay there. But the thing that happened, it was a critical moment in my life. And I was introduced to the world of energy and consciousness because as I came to, all I could do was just see colors. I could see energy around everything, the trees, everything looked brighter. And it was like, whoa, dude, what's happened? And here I am in this world of energy. And I could see the auras around the trees. I could see it around things. I looked at my truck and there was all the energy around the truck. I could see the energy moving in it. And I go, whoa. And I'm shaking my head going, damn, something's happened, but I don't know what it is. I don't think I'm crazy, but something is going on. And so at the time I was introduced to my first teacher. And the thing about it is he showed me and helped me understand this consciousness of energy. And, I was able to walk the journey with him, teaching me and sharing with me for quite a period of time. And, it's still very fond memories for me of actually being with this teacher and just seeing how caught I was on this problems, on the problem, trying to sort the problem out, trying to make it fixed up. And I'm going, ah! And it's just not, and it wasn't working. So, you may relate to it when you have a problem in your life, and no matter how hard you struggle and try to work it out, you may attack it and try and really force it, or you may go passive. And I was swinging between these all the time. And so the PDF's at the top of the page, on the top of the chats. So anyway, so what happened then is I then started just threw myself into understanding consciousness and energy, how it worked. And since then, I've been blessed enough to travel around the world. I've sat with the monks in Tibet for about 3 months. I just sat there and experienced what that was like. I actually thought about becoming a monk, but too blooming cold up in Tibet for me, so I sort of came back to Australia. I've walked in the lava fields of Hawaii and just experienced the nature and how that is. And then I've even was lucky enough while I was working in Washington, DC in America to be called in by the Undersecretary of State just after 9/11 had happened. And they had asked me to come in and help them with the consciousness and the energy around balancing things out there. And so I worked with them, and that's an experience I'll never forget. And for some of you that know me, and if you ever get me to sit down and talk about it, I'll actually get into the depth of what we were doing. It was actually a really cool time. So I've had some pretty amazing life experience, but it wasn't an immediate shift from the chaos and everything great to being everything great. That's not how life works. When I collapsed on the building site, I unwittingly stepped into a place where I connected to my super consciousness and the wholeness, and life just flowed. I experienced what feeling 100% connected to source and the true power feels like. Must admit, I enjoyed it. And I experienced what living your life on purpose feels like. I would go around, and when I travel around the world, I would just sit and I would be told, you need to go here. And so I would just go. And I remember sitting in the airport in LA, and I didn't know what I was going to do or where I was going to go. And I just heard this voice within inside say, Doug, go sit down over at this, at that seat over there. So I go and sat down. And there's a lady's going to come and sit down beside you in a moment and start talking to her. And I went, okay, cool. Oh, I might meet this lovely lady. I was single at the time. I was, woohoo! And anyway, I got there, and this lady comes and sits down beside me. And then this, her husband comes and sits down beside her. I go, oh, crap. But anyway, I started chatting to them, and I talked to them for a while, and they asked me what I was doing. I said, well, you know, I can sort of read energy. I wander around, I help people with consciousness and things like this. And they said, oh, our son. And the way it works for me is the energy just showed up, and I said, your son, he's got this going on, this here, this, that, and I could just read it. That's just what I do. And they said to me, wow. And they pulled out his wallet, how much you want? I said, nothing, I'm just here. And then they, my plane was called, I was flying to San Francisco, and went to get on the plane to go to San Francisco. And as I get on the plane, I remember saying, he says, oh yeah, good on you. You know, that was really worthwhile. I just told them some things about the kid, no big deal, whoopee. And then no sooner had I sat down in my seat than the pilot comes across and says, hey, due to fog, flight's been postponed, and we'll you know, get back off the plane. Go back, get off the plane, and they were flying to Seattle. And they come back and says, oh, wow, I'm so glad you came back. I felt there was something more here, that we hadn't finished our connection. They became one of my biggest promoters and clients in America for a long period of time. And I was just allowing yourself to be in that flow and just being there, and the doorways just opened. I had no ulterior motive of why I was doing it. I was just following the energy. And this is some things that I want you to, what I'm going to share with you today, to be able to help you go deeper into this. So what I learned along the way was, in personal development, new age, spirituality, and even psychology, we're taught to find the problem, to dig it out, dig down. What's the root cause? What's the core issue? And when was the first event? What are the memories contributing to this feeling why everything's not working? And, you know, how many of you have spent hours ruminating over this? How many of you have spent hours, you know, if you're anything like me, trying to work out what's wrong? I'm sure that you've developed an acute awareness of yourself and possibly have had some success by the following strategies, much like what I did. But your deepest beliefs, the ones that just keep repeating on you, and that no matter what you keep doing, they seem to keep popping up. And because one of the things that you need to recognize here, when you're looking at the problem all the time, it's ineffective. Because when we are focusing on the problem, we hold the problem here in one hand, and then we try and get away from it, and we try and find the solution. But to find the solution to the problem, you've still got an attachment to it. And so wherever you go looking for the solution, you take the problem with you. And you just think about it this for a moment, you go, oh my goodness, I'm hooked on to the problem because I'm always trying to fix the problem. Isn't it interesting that the next door neighbor's gardener has to come on Friday? Anyway, I forgot to tell him. He didn't get the memo. Oh, too funny. So the other strategy that it is was we focus on the not problem. We try and focus on all my problems here. I'm going to try and focus elsewhere. I'm going to try and be all positive. I'm going to try and do all this. And we do lots of affirmations, gratitude statements, and we try to pretend, and we try to trick our mind that it's not a problem for us. Yet what we're doing is, because we're trying to trick our mind it's not a problem for us, we're still thinking of the problem. But we've forgotten that we're thinking of the problem, and we go, oh my God, I'm still doing it. And so what are, you know, so these things, they help us change a bit, and we do get movement. But the biggie that I'm finding, and what I found is realized, is that so long as I'm thinking of the problem or connected to the problem, I'm caught by it. And so long as I'm caught by it, it keeps pulling me back. It's like, here's the problem here, and I'm trying to get away from it. and it keeps pulling me back. I keep getting pulled into it. Think about in your life. Have you experienced that? Have you experienced trying to get away from something, or say maybe it's trying to not be broke, and you try to start making a lot of money, and then all of a sudden you get pulled back into it. And these are programs that we run. So now, I'm not saying that all these things are bad. They have their place. By the way, I did these strategies for many years before I learned what I'm doing and going to teach you today. Now, before I begin, I need to tell you that just because you might be stuck and struggling in some area of your life right now, or you're not getting ahead as fast as you'd like, it's not a reflection on your potential. It's not personal what's going on. It's not, you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. You don't need fixing. All that you've done is you've hooked up to the wrong structure. You've got yourself maybe facing in the wrong direction. It's like looking in the rear vision mirror as you're driving forward, sort of thing. It just means you haven't got the whole picture or the right perspective. Your orientation is probably facing the wrong way. And basically, when you realize that, God, it takes some pressure off. I don't know about you guys, but when I recognize that, oh, it's not me. It's just my structure. It's just I'm facing the wrong way, or I'm a little bit seeing it through the vision, through the perception of a filter that may not be serving me. And when you master these 5 steps to connect with your genius and create from the space, you'll naturally and automatically achieve success in any area of your life that you turn your attention to. Because the truth is, you are an awesome force of nature, and you're this, and anyone that, and you guys that work with me, you know that when you sit in this light, it is just such a beautiful way to live your life. You live in joy, you live in total passion and power, and you can do anything. There is no problems. There's just obstacles that you get to climb over. Woohoo! You get to change and experience different things. You know, if you've got a cold right now and feel pretty miserable, it doesn't mean that you're never going to have health and vitality. Just got a cold now. Hey, it's okay. And if you're doing a job that you hate and would rather not be doing, it would rather be doing something else, you know that you can create that. You just got to get in the right structure. If you haven't got the money that you want and you're not doing the things that you love, again, it's just a moment. It's a part of the path along the way. It's like a rock on a pathway that you're walking past. It's not there forever. You're not picking up this big boulder and carrying it with you, even though we sometimes think we should. If your business is struggling and you're finding it hard to attract clients, if you're already, if you're affected by outside conditions of the state of the economy or job market or what's going on in the elections, if you're trying harder but not getting further, and you're always worried about the future, just stop. Just pause for a moment. It doesn't mean anything other than you're not switching onto your genius. And as Einstein said, everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its life, its whole life, believing it is stupid. I don't know, I've never seen a fish climb a tree, but you know, there you go. Your genius is part of you that knows how to effortlessly rise above any of these circumstances. So today I'm going to share with you these 5 steps necessary to elevate yourself to the genius level. I'm going to help you experience what it feels like to connect via your superconscious so you can have and do anything you want in life. So it's important now, before we begin, you have a basic understanding of the terminology I'll be using. And this is where we get that little slideshow out of it. And the terminology that I tend to use, because of energy, you get many people, many teachers give you many different the things. They say the same thing through a different lens, so to speak, or different version. But this is the way that I want to teach you. I want to share with you, because these are the terminology that I tend to use when I looked at energy and life and how it works. So the self-conscious, also known as the ego, defines itself through thought. It's an identity, a body, a name, and it has a lifetime. The goal of the self-conscious is to live the best life possible. It's where 95% of the people in the world live their lives from. You know, we're just trying to be out there on my body, woohoo, and you're trying to create. The unconscious or the subconscious, it defines itself through feelings. It creates unconscious programs and runs the body through automation. On a physical level, this is your nervous system. It is your heart beating the blood around your body, your lungs breathing. You just do it automatically. You're not sitting thinking that, hold on, take a breath, take a breath. You know, it does it automatically. It's also your belief programs from your childhood. Whatever you believe to be true comes from this place. Things like you have to work hard for money. You're not good enough. You're not capable. The unconscious has no reasoning capability, so its only goal is to keep you as the system moving. So what it's trying to do here, it just wants to maintain the status quo. It doesn't care whether your self-conscious is in pain or not. It's saying, no, this works. It's like a car just driving down the road. It just works. It doesn't know that there's another road that you can go, not until you change the programming and it will go and take the other path. It's just like a train on tracks, just keeps on going. Now the superconscious or the wholeness. Now I call it wholeness because you often hear me talk about light and because we are beings of light. And the superconscious and the light I tend to call the same thing. So you'll find I switch from each one to the other. It defines itself as a code of information. It has unlimited knowledge and cannot think or feel. Its primary goal is to be involved in creation. So its goal for you is to help you create and become that which you want to be. The superconscious is where the personal genius is located. Everyone has a genius inside of them. And when we tap into the aspect of ourselves, success becomes a natural part of our lives. When we connect with the creative spirit within, we harmonize with the miraculous nature of existence and bring it into being. Extraordinary creation that defies our expectation of what is possible. From my experience, I have a hunch you are here with me today because you know that there is so much more that you can do and you are ready to be and step into this place. I'm guessing you already have a sense of your shining unlimited capacity that exists within you, and it's just time to let it out. So there is a definitive correlation between the superconscious creativity and natural success. So here are the 5 simple, straightforward steps to accessing your genius by the superconscious. Number 1, understand the function of consciousness. We briefly covered that before, and here's another way to think about it. We all start out having as little beams of light, you know. Think about it, before you were conceived, before you were in your mum's womb, there you were, this beautiful beam of light, and you were connected to everything. And if you've ever read Neil Donald Walsh's book, The Little Soul in the Sun, where this little soul in the sun wants to come down and comes up to God and says, dude, I know myself as this, I know myself as that. He goes, yeah, wow, awesome. It says, yeah, but one thing I'd really like to do is know myself as forgiveness. And he says, okay, if you want to know yourself as forgiveness, come down. You'll need to come get a body, go down in light, and then allow yourself to find something to forgive or be forgiven for. And so he goes, oh, okay. And then he looks around and finds a couple of other souls. He says, yeah, I'll help you do that. And so mum and dad turn up, and some brothers and sisters and people in your life come around. Read the book. It's really quite cute how it gets it. But here we are. Here you are, this beautiful infinite being full of light. You can do anything. And then you find yourself, you want to have this experience of knowing yourself as these different aspects. And then suddenly you realize you have it all by simply existing. And when you realize that you come into the womb and you find yourself in your mother's womb, and there you are, you got the food, you got the water, you know, TV, whatever going on inside your womb. I don't know, I wasn't there. Mine had it pretty cool. And there you are, just experiencing this experience. And then you start to, then you're born and you realize there is this separation. And you're separate from others. And we're stuck in these little bodysuits. There were two types of bodysuits. You would have got the one that you chose. And, you know, there's the male version and the female version. You chose whichever one you got. And hey, there's your little bodysuit. And we move from beings of light, these beings of light of superconscious, being in the superconscious, to physical matter with a conscious and an unconscious. And here is what the unconscious is saying. More often than not, it's telling you how you have to be, or how you don't have it, or whatever it is for you. It's telling you what you need to do, how you need to be, all from this viewpoint, you don't have it now. So here you've gone from this beautiful piece of consciousness of knowing yourself as wholeness, and you've come down and you've forgotten who you are. And the reason of our unconscious has so much power is because it's the aspect of our consciousness that tasks with creating our illusion of separation and individuation. We were born and became individual. We have to do something to get enough food, enough water to survive. We know that if to get love, you know, you think about the little babies when they're laying there, when they're wanting some love or they're wanting some food, they have to do a certain action. If they just lay there gooing and garring, everyone goes, oh, lovely, lovely. But it starts going, hey, my little bodysuit's getting hungry. My little mechanism needs working. So what am I going to do to actually fill it up? And so then we learn what to do. We learn if we do something good, we get praise. And if we do something bad, we tend to get told off. We realize that there's good and bad. We realize that there's wrong and right. And we learn that there is, to ensure we get mum's love and dad's praise, we have to be a certain way. And the loss of having it all is very painful and unacceptable. To make sense of this new world, we make beliefs about ourselves to ease the pain. Now, these beliefs create our perspective or our orientation on the world. Now, remember I talked about that earlier, the orientation or the perspective of the world where we're looking through, and we're looking through the lens or the glasses of a certain way of being. And our perspective we made when we're this itty bitty little critter. And so one of the things that we do is we may have, if I just had enough money, then I could hire the staff. If I just had enough blah, then I could do this. If I just had enough someone to hold on to keep me accountable or to give me some love, well, then I'd feel loved. If I just, then I will avoid. If I just get this contract, oh, then I'll avoid that. And we're continually going from these two places. Can you see how you're getting caught? When you collapse from all possibilities into human form, you had to forget that you were infinite possibilities. You decided to create a limited perspective of what was possible so you could experience the whole. And one of the things that I want you to think about here is when it's like, here you are as a soul, here you are as this little being. And when you're in your wholeness, you can know yourself as everything, and you can have everything. You can have anything, but you can't have everything. Sorry, you can have anything, but you can't have everything. Because to have this individual way of life, you have to look at life through the lens of, well, hold on, it's like going to a banquet. And the way I like to describe it, it's like going to a banquet. You've got all the food there, but you know you can't eat all the food. So you've got a choice to make. So what choice are you going to make? Are you going to go for the, you know, like for me, I always go for the Alaskan crab, yumbo. Or do you go for the steak? Or do you go for the vegetables? What is it for you? And what we do by making our choice to go for something, that's where we get to experience what that's like. Because somebody working on a construction building site has a completely different experience of life than someone sitting in an office, maybe being an accountant or something. They may do a little bit of the same sort of stuff at home in their hobby, but someone that's on a building site knows what it's like to be a contractor. The person that knows being an accountant knows what it's like to be an accountant. They have a different view on life. They have a different set of experiences. And this is where we look at our lives, and no one's life is better or worse than anyone else's. They're just different. And it's, what do we choose? And are you choosing consciously, or are you doing what I did when I was in the plumbing and I hated it, that I was choosing unconsciously that I wanted out of it, and then the universe provided, and then I got all mad at the universe because all of a sudden my life turned upside down. So the first thing, one of the things we've got to do is prepare the fertile ground for our genius to emerge. The first and foremost is to understand that trying to clear and get rid of your unconscious beliefs, it's a waste of time. Worse, by focusing on the problem caused by your limited worldview, you give the problem more power. You give it your energy. Think about it for a minute. If you're focusing on a problem, and I was talking to a lady this morning when I was doing a coaching call, and she was in a relationship, and the relationship, the guy was, just becoming a bit, how do you call it? Say not so interested. And then when we talked about it, it was nothing about him. She actually was giving him her power, but what she actually wanted was her own house, her own property, of doing what she wanted to do. But she saw he had a similar view, and he was going down a road, and she thought, I'll jump on his coattails, and we'll, he'll be the one, and we'll be happy families. But it wasn't actually the interest in him that she was after. It was the connection of actually choosing to actually live in a house of her own. And like she said, this beautiful green velvet couch and okay, cool. So if you go and stay with this guy, is he going to want a green velvet couch in the lounge? And she said, well, maybe not. I said, yeah, but to you, it's important. That's where you're going. And can you see that you're giving him your power? And now you're just feeling weak. You're on call, waiting for him to call, and your emotions during the day are knocking you off balance because you're so busy worrying what he's thinking. Meanwhile, he's just caught up in his stuff, in his programming. The reason why there is such a preoccupation with belief clearing and self-healing within the spiritual and personal development world is because of the pervading assumption that we are our wounds, or we are broken. Two things you know: you're not broken and you don't need fixing. Our wounds are just the chassis of the vehicle that transports us transports a part of us, that who we really are, through this thing we call life. So it's just a body vehicle. It's just what we're driving around in. It's like, what sort of car do you drive? That's your vehicle that you're cruising around in. For me, I've got to wrap the truck. The reason why I got to wrap the truck, because I like going over rocks and doing truck type things. It's awesome. So the thing for you, you might have a beautiful little Porsche or a Lamborghini or a little Hyundai, whatever it is for you, but that's the vehicle that you're just driving around in. It's not who you are. It's just what you chose. It's not right. You can change it. But you don't worry about something. You get a dent in it. Your world's not over. You can change. The ultimate determinant of what we experience in life is what we give our power to. What are we giving it into our consciousness? What are we actually doing? Essentially, there are two forces at play in our conscious: our truth and our resistance. And the resistance to acting to the truth. So here you are, you've got truth, you've got divine light, super conscious saying, hey, Doug, do this. And over here, no, but they might look at me, what's going on? Oh, shit. And so you find in this battle, like that girl, that the lady I was working with this morning, she's so busy thinking that her super conscious, her wholeness, was wanting her to be in a place of her own so she could know herself as wholeness. And here she's thinking, oh, I'll hang on to him because he'll give that to me. And her fear of being alone was stopping her from stepping into the oneness. And so she kept getting into relationships where people couldn't commit. And you may find you do something similar. You've got your own version of this going on. And I hope that you're thinking about this and going, oh, yeah, I do this in this area of my life, or I do that. Yeah, I give my power away to there. I give them the power. When we don't follow through on our truth, it becomes a function of our resistance. And when we give into our resistance, we give our unconscious the message that our beliefs have the power. And that sets up a structure in which our genius can't get through to you. One of the things that we find, you know, in this little part that I think when I work with people, we're working on financial blocks and things like that, and we get them to step into their creation of what they're wanting to create financially. Quite often, not quite often, nearly always, they find that things start going sideways and start coming at them a bit as if things are wrong. And the reason that is because that's the resistance of where they don't know themselves as that wholeness. That's the separation. That's those parts of their beliefs that have been holding them back from really being into the power of who they truly are. And if they go and try and solve all those little problems, they end up spending time solving problems. And what they do is they just drag the problem along with them. Yet when they step into the choice of knowing themselves, have the powerful knowingness of they are this allowed to have this abundance, they then start creating it. They start being the magnet that draws it to them because they're resonating at that frequency of it. And this is, you know, you listen to Reverend Beckworth, Michael Beckworth. He talks about, here he was one day, he's driving and he saw this homeless person on the side of the road. And he was watching it and he's starting to take notice of this homeless person. And he's looking at him and going, wow, I wonder what has to happen for you to become homeless. And he then started noticing he was spending a lot of time wondering what would have to happen to become homeless. And then he had this big accident thing in his house, and it was going to cost him hundreds of thousands of dollars to fix. And then he got a big tax bill come out of the blue from nowhere, and he go, what the hell? And all of a sudden he's getting all these financial problems coming at him. And he recognized that his consciousness had been focusing on what needs to happen for you to become homeless. And he was starting to draw that towards himself. And the thing is, it's such a beautiful teaching, because you look at it, you go, oh my God, I've been focusing on this negative and I'm wondering why I keep getting drawn to it. You know, and this is, you know, my wife doing it yesterday. We were just having a talk last night. We paddle outrigger canoes, and she says, oh, always having to do these crews that are not as strong. And she used to be at the top of the game in it. And she goes, oh. And I said, well, what are you focusing on? And she says, well, I don't want to be having to drag all these heavy ass bodies around in the boat. And the thing that came out about it is, says, well, why don't you focus on what you do want rather than what you don't want? And we just started laughing and going, oh my God, there we are, we do it. We still see that we get caught on making a problem. So just be aware in your life where you may be doing this to yourself. So use the emotion of the true end result through visualization. This is number 5. When we step into the visualization and the meditation state, and you can condition your unconscious to have the ability to accept and receive anything. So what about allowing yourself to receive the end result of this, what you desire? Rather than explain it in detail, I'm going to let you experience it instead. So what I want you to do here, just take a moment. I want you to sit there and I want you to actually think about something that you would like. No, and what's your mind here? What's your mind here? So choose something that you'd like. Say, you know, a money figure, oh, like $1 million. You know, one of the things that we look at when we make our choices, it's got to be something that you love. You know, like for me, I talk about my Raptor truck, and people that know me, I just love my truck. And it just lights me up. My friend drives a Mitsubishi Triton. I don't like them. And I got these other people that have got a Mazda and things like that. And for me, it was this truck. And people say, well, but Doug, you don't go out that much. What are you doing? I said, yeah, but I just love it. I'm getting in with this big, stupid grin on my face. And I love it. And the feeling of it. Now, that's what I mean by choose something that you want. What's something that you want? Don't notice that in your mind when you go to choose something here. Are you choosing it because that's what Dad told you should do, or Mum told you should do? Was it choosing it because, oh, now, hey, I really like that. I'd really like to be in a relationship, or I'd really like to be X. And as you step into that feeling tone, and this is where healing takes place too. You know, you look at people healing, getting over cancers and things like that. They step into this feeling tone of what they choose. And it's such a beautiful thing, because you don't focus on the cancer, you focus on what do you choose. Just that's up there. Just allow yourself to connect here for a moment. And as you allow yourself to connect here to that thing that you choose, just feel what it feels like for you. Let go of all the reasoning, all the story in the mind, and just allow yourself to sit in that desired reality of that which you choose. That's it. Notice how good it feels. That's it. There you go. And just allow yourself to let go. Notice it's like becomes very clear for you. But if you watch and you sit there, you'll notice then the thoughts start trying to trickle back in. They're the old programs. That's it. It's just a taste. So knowing this, you will realize, just allow yourself to sit there. You can sit in this place if you want while I'm talking, just allow yourself to be there with it. You're there experiencing life according to the beliefs. And as you're sitting in this choice, here's 6 of the unconscious beliefs, and I'm sort of doing this for a reason, that most of us have. These are the 6 unwanted beliefs that we take on as a child and we continue to play out. One is I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I don't belong. If you go through the slide, there's that one there. Slide number 4. I'm not perfect. I'm not capable. I'm not as significant. And if you look at it, and you look at what's going on for you, if you've got this belief in the structure where you're hanging on to that you're not good enough, you're always trying to prove yourself. And just where you get there, just about approving it, you'll find you sabotage yourself and pull yourself back down. Well, you're not worthy. You never get chosen for the team. You never get that promotion. They always look after you. And here you're doing all the work and wondering why that's happening. But underneath, you're still hanging on to that old problem of thinking that you're not worthy, that old wound, that old belief. And so you don't feel you're deserving. And if you don't belong, you try to fit in. You're always trying to do things for people, hoping that if you do enough for them, then they'll do something for you. They'll love you. They'll accept you. But you're running from that old problem of not belonging. And if I'm not perfect, you're trying to fix yourself. Yes. Yes. Yes, Clinton, yes. One of the things, check on the chat there, should be there, you should be able to get it and just download it. Sorry, they're just looking at Clinton's message. And one of the things that I'm not capable, you need to learn. I was running this one and I was going, oh, I'm not capable, I'm incapable of doing this. And I'd go to do something. You know, for one, me, I was doing a video and I was trying to get it right because I was trying to get it the way perfect. But I didn't believe I was capable to do it. And then the funny thing is, once I shared the belief, man, they just pop out of me like that now. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's just as it is. It's always perfect because it's natural. It's just how it is. And when you let go of all of that, then you find yourself, you're free. And another one, I'm insignificant. So you're always trying to get out there and get fame. And we see this out there, people trying to be out there and be all these fame type people. They've probably got a belief, a lot of them have got a belief underneath that they're insignificant, and you tap it and they crumble a little bit. And it's about recognizing that you see this. And you say, well, geez, where am I insignificant? I also had that one too. That one also played out in me. You know what I do? Instead of being out there being big and that, you go and hermit. And you just talk to my wife and she'll tell you, Doug likes being a hermit. I like my own company. I like sitting at home. I can sit in peace for hours. You know, when she first met me, one of the things I said, hey, I will meditate for 6 to 8 hours a day, at least once a month. And she says, not married to me, you won't. And they were married for about 3 or 4 months. Go and meditate. And she get me go back and to sit in that place because I step into that place inside of myself. It's so, you know, and that's what I do. And I don't do that often nowadays. I'll go for a couple of 4 hours or whatever, but it's just something I love to do. But in the start, when I first did it, it was because I enjoyed being in wholeness more than being in the world, and I had to step through the tension of what was going on. So these 6 sabotaging beliefs can cause huge problems in our lives. These beliefs are the underlying structure of all motivation. and it becomes our life purpose to resolve them. The thing is, we don't got to resolve them. However, in their attempt to overcome the belief, our identity gets caught in the belief and we can never truly escape it. And so what happens is we're in this tug of war. For example, if you didn't get enough attention growing up, except when you were doing something amazing, you'll be going out there to do something amazing and hoping that you're going to get this attention. And every time you sort of get to the top, you get pulled back down. It's a setup. You don't achieve your goals, because if you actually did get all that attention and did get all that praise and did get all that love, your belief of not being worthy, your identity would go into chaos, because it's got to die. You know, that belief that you're hanging on to, that you're not worthy, all of a sudden everyone's saying you are worthy. Well, then you're at lockerheads. You're in a battle. And the thing is, when we unhook from it, we set ourselves free. And what happens there, that brings into the structure of where we're oscillating. Now, one of the things that I want you to look at is the structures that we run under. Okay. Ooh, it's getting warm in this room. It's getting heated up. I hope you're getting heated up. I hope some of this stuff is starting to land. You're seeing how it's playing out for you. And I hope that some of it sounds familiar, where you are recognizing in yourself, yeah, damn, I do that. So with a powerless problem orientation, when we're focusing on the being powerless or on the problem, we can never solve the negative belief about ourselves. If they're no longer, because if you're no longer not good enough, what would you be? Who would you be? Conversely, they can never truly not be good enough, because that is far too painful. So you live in somewhere in the middle. And it's like, think about it. You never be so broke that you have nothing, but then you never be opulent. You allow yourself, your belief systems will allow yourself to live somewhere in the middle, wherever that is for you. And so you notice, they go, wow, money's not a problem. You know, you can live pretty comfortably. But then as soon as you start getting down there too far, down to the place where it's lower than what your belief system allows, you start taking action to create it, so you bring yourself back into balance. But when you start getting too much, or it starts getting really good, you start shorting yourself out. Hey, you can't have life that easy. And so you pull yourself back. And you watch this dance. You see it everywhere in life. The real problem is your orientation, where you're focusing it from. Remember how I said when I was fixing the plumbing business and collapsed, this orientation was the cause. My orientation is I thought I had to work hard to be accepted. And I was using the force technique to try and make it work. It doesn't work. It didn't in my case. Let's start. So choice. So step number one here, choice. Choose a true goal. Now, a true goal is something that you want. And a way that I sort of explain this to people say, oh, I want a house. And I'll go, okay, so why do you want a house? Oh, because it's going to give me security. It's going to give me status. It's going to give me a mortgage to pay. It gives you all these things. You start outlining all these things that it's going to give you. And I remember saying this to my coach. And he said to me, he says, Dad, why do you want a house? I said, it gives me all these things. And he says, no, you don't. He says, why do you want the house? I says, because I'll feel secure. He says, no, it won't make you secure. He says, why do you want it? And I got really frustrated with him. I was going, what do you mean? Why do I want it? I want it because I bloody do. I can. And he went, there's the truth. You want it because you can. You choose it because you can. Not because of what it's going to do, but you choose it because, yeah, I'd like to experience my life, my love, like that. I'd just love to experience that. That's a true goal. If you're choosing a goal because it's going to get you out of a problem, then you're still focused on the problem. So when align with your desire, with your end result, and then you move forward with complete clarity and creativity. Because when I admitted that I wanted my house because I did, then we started taking action steps to find out what we need to do, because we took aligned actions, because that was the truth of actually what I wanted to do. So when you're in problem solving or versus creating, the difference between problem solving and creating is huge. It's literally the difference between a lifetime of struggle and self-sabotage, or a lifetime of joyful creating. Explaining the difference is easy, just as I did. The practical application is a little more difficult at parts. Struggle stems from where you put your orientation and intention. And I've been banging on this for a wee bit now. If you put your focus on what you desire first and then take action towards it, you are in creative orientation structure. So I'm wanting a house because I do. No other thing. I just want a house. I want to experience myself with this house. And so what happens is I get the house over here, that's what I want, and it pulls me towards it. Make sense? On the other hand, you are sitting there, if you're sitting around thinking about what's wrong with you or your reality, and then deciding you must go and solve a problem, and you must, your first intention is to solve a problem, not to create, then the problem orientation is the problem is where you've got your orientation towards that structure. So you're facing the problem. Does that make sense? So the result, so by observing the problem, you bring into your reality by creating a point of observation. So you're focusing at the problem, you're looking at the problem in the field that you then try to solve. So the problem-focused structure is inescapable. You will never solve the problem as the solution only exists in the polarity to the problem. Said another way, and you think about this, think of a problem. You can do this now quickly. It's just a quick little exercise that I'll get people to do. If you think of a problem, you've got something that's annoying, you just pick a little one, don't go get a big hooly-dooly one, just get a little one. It's like going into the room. So the problem's like a dark room. And you go in there and you've got this problem there, and then you shine the light. You go into the room and you turn the light on. What happens to the darkness? It just disappears. So when you go into the problem and you shine light or your awareness or your love, the essence of who you are, onto the problem dissolves. And then you're left scrambling, where to go? Who cares? It's gone. And then it's just like, what you do is you just focus on the problem. You focus on being the light, shining it in the problem. And so long as you've got that problem there, so long as you focus on the problem, so shall the problem be. Turn the light back off and the problem will come back. Yet, how many times have you guys noticed in your life that when you allow yourself to be to move beyond something, that problem no longer exists? It doesn't exist in your reality. Because now you're in this room with all this light on, there is no darkness. And when we get to really understand what I'm putting down here, you will, and you begin to live it, your life just becomes a very peaceful place, because you realize there are no problems. There are only opportunities of growth and structures to step over. So in short, the first thing you must do is get in the correct structure. The old structure and the old way of programming and trying to fix problems has been keeping you held in that world view that you had as a little one. You must define yourself as a powerful creator, not a powerless victim. And I was talking to some people last night, and they were telling me how their life was, things were going sideways on them and that, and I go, yeah, you've taken your focus of you being this powerful creator. You're looking at all the problems. You're forgetting about the solution or the power that you are. Those problems are just belief systems that have popped up. And this is a big turning point when people see this, when you see this and you get this. Oh, the joy. such a blessing to watch people do this, just as my teacher watched me become aware of it and the blessings that came through. And this is what I want for you too. One of the things I've realized over the last 20 years of work in this field is that the constant reminders and dissolving of old structures that accelerates our achievements. You do not need to be anything other than who you are. And you can create everything you desire. You are the creative spirit who creates everything you have in your life. You have just forgotten who you are and forgotten how powerful you are. You must connect to the superconscious. And when I say must, it's your choice. You don't want it, you don't want it. To step into this wholeness and know yourself as this genius, it is part of what happens. And create a new set of instructions for your unconscious to follow. Because when we live through this way, we no longer hang on to those old thoughts of not being good enough, because you're always good enough, you're always worthy. So I want to touch on the creative structure and the tension, because how many of you, when you get into some tension, if you were like me, you run away. And one of the things that's becoming comfortable is stepping into tension. And this is where I look at people and they talk about, they get their the post-traumatic stress disorders, and they get traumas in their life. You know, someone calling you stupid can be a trauma. And when someone says to you, or someone pushes their energy at you a certain way and you feel it, it's like a trauma to you. And for most of us, we all step away. Yet when you step into your superconscious and the wholeness, you allow yourself to experience the tension that is there. And knowing the light, you turn the light on, knowing you're the light, you turn the light in the room and the darkness goes. That tension releases. Because that tension that you feel is from a perception where you held on to the energy as a little one. And we call it, sometimes we call it childish perceptions. And the only reason they're called childish perceptions is because we took them on as a child. Yet when we see them through the eyes of our wholeness, or the superconscious and our genius within inside of ourselves, we recognize that all that we've done is gone, and we grabbed onto the energy and we're holding tight. Yet when we learn to know that we are safe inside of ourselves, we begin to open. And as we open, the energy just unravels and we move on. So we do this by orientating from a place of power. You can have everything you desire now. It's just a matter of choosing. Most people think if they had everything now, they would no longer be motivated, because their whole lives have been about overcoming problems. But if you have everything now, then, well, what else do you want? No, you've been to the smorgasbord, you've had the main meal. Let's have a bit of ice cream in that now, eh? Or some nice, you know, my wife loves that, what is it, that chocolate date cake pudding or whatever. She just loves it. Or you allow yourself to go off into some other thing. So once you realize you can have everything, there's nothing you can do to be more worthy. You can't be more good enough. You can't be more significant. You can't be more capable, and you can't belong more, and you can't be more perfect. You're perfect as you are. When we connect to wholeness, we step into the energy of making this happen. Now, one of the things that we quite often hear is you've got to be it to see it. And as Bob Proctor would say, you have to act in a certain way. And this was all that I'm talking about. Now, when we are able to step into the feeling tone, and you'll notice I keep saying feeling tone. Feeling tone is important for us to be aware of the feeling tone of the elevated emotion that we want to create. When we can step in that, we raise our vibration. We move out of the resistance of where we've been. So what is structure? You hear me harp on about structure. So structure is 2 points. And one of the things, a structure is a term that refers to a single thing with parts. And these parts have an impact upon each other. So like your arm, the structure of the elbow bones, okay? A structure can look like a body, a chair, a song, a building. anything with individual parts working together. Your life building process is a structure made up of 4 parts. So there's the 3 structures that we tend to have. We have the stuck structure, the oscillating structure, and the flow structure. The stuck structure is like a post. You're just, you're stuck there. And for people that tend to have a stuck structure, it's because they don't have a goal. They don't know what, they can't get decided on what they want to do. So they're just stuck where they are. And that's okay, because once you realize that, then you can just choose what do you want to do, and then you'll get some movement. An oscillating structure is when you keep changing your mind, where you keep being problem orientated, because you're trying to get over to here, but you're caught on the problem. So you keep oscillating. So you go, I'll try this, I'll try this, I'll try this. And you keep trying different things, trying to get away from the problem. And that's where an oscillating structure happens. A flow structure is when you're connected to source or the superconscious, and you're choosing to create what you want to create. And your life building process is a structure made up of 4 parts. A current reality, which is your identity of who you think you are right now. Your desired reality, somewhere where you're wanting to go to, or where you think it may be better, or something that you're wanting to create, choosing to create. An identity, who you think you are, and an action to take. One of the things to remember, there is never anything to do, there is only action to take. When you're doing, you're trying to solve a problem. Done that one. Okay, so if you go onto the slides, you'll see that there's the oscillating structure. And since if you haven't got the slides here, this will be a little bit hard to follow. But anyway, let's try and work it out. I'll try and give it to you as clean as I can. So in the start, so if you've got a piece of paper there in front of you, draw it down, draw a little square and write no money. And in the structure here of having no money, and then you draw another box to the right of it, and you'll say you want to earn money. So the oscillating structure here is your current reality is you have no money, and your desired structure is to earn money. And so you create tension trying to make it. And as soon as you start earning money, the pressure comes off, and then you feel a little bit better about yourself. But what happens here is we have an agenda, and because of the oscillating structure, you have no money, you go to earn it, then you think to yourself that you've got an old program that says money's bad. So then you get rid of the money, and then you go into the a structure. So you think money's bad, so you create another oscillation where you go to, you've got to give it away. And so you find yourself going through this zigzag of having no money, making money, thinking money's bad, coming over here to getting rid of the money, which takes you back to having no money. And you find yourself doing this cycle. When you keep doing this cycle, what happens is you keep separating yourself from who you truly are. And what happens for us here is we want to get out of where we are. So the desired place where you are there now, your current reality is where you're probably not feeling satisfied, and you have a desired reality where you want to get to. So to help you do this, I want you to think of an area of your life and I want you to think of your desired reality and step into the feeling tone of that. Just allow yourself to step into the feeling tone of that. What does that feeling like for you? Of your desired reality, what perceptions do you have about it? What are the emotions and feelings that are there for you? Pick an area of your life. And what are the thoughts you have associated with it? What behaviors or actions do you take when you do it? Why do you want it? That's it. Just allow yourself to step into that feeling tone of that desired reality. That's it there. Good. Okay, so now you've got that one there. Now I want you, as you get that feeling, I feel like it's going to feel the energy on you guys. It's beautiful. Okay, now come back to your current reality. How is it now for you? What perception do you have of it, of your current reality? What are the emotions or the feelings that are present? Yeah, some of them aren't too nice, are they? What behaviors or actions do you take? Yeah, what ones are sabotaging? What thoughts do you have associated with this current reality? Okay, so what do you want to do different? So you look at the two of them. The desired reality will obviously feel nicer. The current reality, you'll be a little bit crunchy. If there was a scale from 0 to 10, 10 being lots of resistance to 0 being none, what's the difference? How much? What's the resistance level that you have? And you put in the chat if you want. Just the number from 0 to 10. How much resistance do you have to step into your current reality? From the current reality to your desired reality. What's the resistance level? Just allow yourself to put it there. Yeah. 6. 8. 10. Yeah. Beautiful. So what I want you to do here is I want you to allow yourself to open up, just give you permission for me to tap into your superconscious and to tap into your wholeness. And I just want you to allow yourself to go ahead and close your eyes for a moment. And as you close your eyes here, just allow your superconscious, your wholeness, to light up your neurology, to light up your body, to light up your field. And as it does, allow it to dissolve the belief that you're not good enough or you're not worthy. Just let it dissolve it and just allow it to recode and allow the expression of who you are. There you go. And just let that energy begin to start flowing through you. You might find that energy just starts flowing through your body too. And as you do that, you're beginning to connect. Allow yourself to dissolve any resistance that you have to being enough. Being enough for your mother. Being enough as a mother. Allow yourself to let, they're showing me a metaphor or symbology of a waterfall, of allowing yourself to just let this waterfall flush through your system, washing away anywhere that you don't believe you're good enough. Washing away there's a little rock there, a little stubborn irritation there, where you're wanting to fight. Yeah, there it is there. That aspect of you there where you're wanting to fight to be right. And what I want you to do is just allow yourself to see that. Don't try and get her out. She's not wrong, she's not right. He's perfect as he is. But it's that old belief system, that part of separation inside of you that's telling you that you're wrong. And all you do is just allow yourself to stand under this waterfall. That's it. And just there it goes. And you find it just collapses in on itself. It just washes away. Beautiful. The question there is, what do you want? What are you choosing? And for some of you, there's some sadness and some emotions coming up, and just allow that to run through. What you're doing here is you're stepping in to your desired choice. Cool. Now, as you're in this place, notice how you feel. That's it. Notice how easy it is to be here. Now, I want you to turn and look back at your current reality. And I want you to stand in it and go and see that aspect of yourself, that identity of yourself there, standing that current reality. And I just want you to go and stand beside it. And this is the wise version, genius part of yourself. And as you stand there, I want you to tell it, it's okay. And I want you to imagine placing your hand on that aspect of yourself. You see the pain and just watch the pain and they just wash away. That's it. And the program that's running in your mind there, it's in the head there, is that you're going to be happy if you're not here. But the thing is, you're happy anyway. And this essence of you just standing there and just being in this happiness. There it is. There you can just let that light run through. There you go. Notice how you're starting to stop struggling there. It's just unraveling. And what will happen is a peace will come over you. And as this peace comes over you, you move yourself into a place of being. Now just allow yourself to bring your attention to the desired reality and notice how that is for you. Beautiful. Notice how it's peaceful there too. And as you look back at the current reality, it's not a problem, is it? Just is. And what we do is just dissolve. There you go. And then the pathway is there. So what we do, just allow yourselves to come back there. Just allow yourselves to connect. Really connect back with yourself. What we did there was we released the unconscious tension that you had there that was holding you back. So what we did is we got you to orientate with your true goal. And in the structure, we allowed yourself to feel the tension or the resistance. And we got you into the elevated emotion of what it feels like in your desired reality. And so you raised your vibration into this higher level. When we did the little exercise, we unplugged you from the unconscious coding and allowed you to step into the higher vibration code of what you desire. And the last step is what's your aligned action. From feeling from this place of loving kindness inside of you and this wholeness, what's your aligned action that you must take? And then you just allow yourself to step into that. And as you step into this aligned action, what happens here is there's no doing. You just, okay, this is what I got to do. For me to achieve this, I do X. And we just allow that to happen. Okay. So that's basically the process, or one of the processes that we do. And all of the trainings I run and all of the coaching I do and all of the awareness I enable and all the techniques I impart and ultimately designed to support you in one thing, accessing your superconscious. So you can live from this genius within inside of yourself. When you're able to do that, you're able to make high-level choices from which success naturally flows. Now, I've coached and trained literally thousands of people, and honestly, hundreds of them have gone nowhere because they didn't put the teachings into practice. And then there's hundreds of them that have transformed their lives into the most brilliant ways imaginable. You know, like Mike, who was a property developer, when I was working with him, he had $10 million net worth, but he was constantly in conflict and legal battles and all sorts of stuff going on. And he's now moved by changing this concept in himself into harmonious relationships with his clientele. And he's got $100 million net worth in just over 12 months of working with him. And then there was Mary, who suffered migraines 3 to 4 times a week for 3 years. Can you imagine how painful that is? I've seen my wife with migraines and how debilitating it can be. But after following a program for 6 months, her migraines disappeared. And the last time we spoke, she had been migraine-free for almost 2 years. Now, if you're ready to learn how to master living your life as an expression of your highest potential so that you can easily and dependably create with what you love, then I'd like to invite you to join us in the Conscious Creating Mastery program. It's a 12-month program, and because that's an average of how long it takes to get people to really master and sit into the step of teachings of these teachings and actually be in the expression of it being. They don't just talk about it, they are the living expression of coming from this place. Anything shorter is cutting out your ability to shine. My goal in the program is to take you from a wish of living your greatness to where your talent and your genius explodes out of you. And I want to give you a thorough understanding of what it takes to live a genius life and the tools that to achieve it. What we do there is, what we did today is a taster of where we actually go. But it's not enough for you to constantly become your own conscious creator and tap into your superconscious and genius. So are you ready to claim back your inner being, to reconnect with your inner genius, to live a life of oneness and wholeness? If the answer is yes, then go to, I'm going to put this in the chat, the Honeycomb Academy, because this is on the slide. I'm going to put it in the chat here for you so that you can see where to go to find this website. Yeah, that might make it easier. Send it to everyone. And don't worry, the program won't be another course that you put on the shelf. And for the people there that do this with there, it's not something that you put on the shelf, you go and listen to it and you never implement it. That's not the way I do things. I'm going to walk with you 5 days a week. Because what this Honeycomb Academy is every morning I do a call. Or if you're in America or in England, you'll find it'll be in the evenings. You actually get to choose on how many days you want to come. It's 5 days a week, Monday to Friday for me, and actually teach you the key steps to unlocking your own creativity, which will lead you to being naturally more successful in whatever you choose to do. We get to chat on a daily basis, like I said, 5 days a week. Repetition is the key to learning here. And what I'm meaning about this is when we go into it, and this is one of the things that we look at when I look at people that are healing their bodies. They need to be soaking themselves in the vibration of creating. When we're wanting to be in a place, we've got to be in the creation of it. And when we do that, sorry, the old phone just going off there, we have theme days. We start the week by setting up your week, getting the goals, getting your true choices. And then we even, then we have a day that one day is particularly just for healing, taping you into the wholeness, into the genius so that you can actually be in this place. And then the other days we go into getting you to understand the teaching so you understand it at a deeper level. Every call is recorded and is loaded on a private membership site. And so even if you can't make the session, you can listen to the replays. And as a bonus, there's a library of resources. There's over 400 videos there going from health and vitality through to wealth and prosperity. Now, I want to help as many people as I can. So the price of the program is really affordable. It's like very affordable. It's affordable to everyone. It's only $147 US a month. And if you're in a position to pay for the whole program, for the program in full, you'll get 3 months free. So effectively, you're only paying for 9 months. For anyone who signs up for the annual payment today, I'll also throw in a bonus. which is a 30-minute one-on-one coaching session with me where I'll help you step into the place of your choices and actually help you personally, where you are, go into that place. So you've got an opportunity there to benefit from that. And it's just about stepping in and taking the choice. So all I can say is that the program works. It's worked for my clients, it's worked for me, and I know it will work for you. If you allow yourself to apply these teachings, it'll work for you too. It'll really make a difference in your life, and you'll wonder what you've been waiting for so long. Once you begin to make the superconscious derived choices, you're going to experience a whole new level of insights, effective action, enhanced capability, serendipity, synchronicity, resourcefulness, connectedness, improves options, and well, just magic in general. And you just get to live in joy. You know, that on its own is, oh, man, I just love it. So I'd like to thank you for sharing your time with me today, and I really hope to see you and the members on call on Monday. And I wish you an awesome weekend, and allow the energy that you received today to permeate your being and fill you with the love and joy over this lovely weekend ahead. So blessings. I wish you well, and I look forward to seeing you on the call. So just remember, it's the honeycomb.academy, Conscious Creating Mastery. My blessings. Take care, guys, and I will talk to you soon.